They struck without warning. The Vare Dominion, ancient in arrogance and swollen with conquest, descended upon Carthan's Reach, a thriving human colony on the fringe of mapped space. Its population of 70,000 men, women, and children had little more than orbital traffic buoys and trade docks for defense. The Vare came in silver crescents, warships draped in banners of conquest, their hulls singing with weapon fire. Plasma lances fell upon Carthan's cities like a storm of judgment. Towers crumbled, atmospheres burned, and screams carried through every comm channel until static claimed them. The Vare broadcast their slaughter across open frequencies, their commander's voice reverberating through the void. Let this be a lesson to the soft-shelled species of Earth. Your colonies grow too fast. Your reach exceeds your grasp. We prune the garden before weeds choke the stars. Children were dragged from shelters, envoys executed on their knees. The Dominion marked Carthan's soil with sigils of dominance, laughing as their soldiers recorded human pleas for mercy. They did not silence the colony quickly. They let it burn slowly, so the galaxy could watch. The Vare believed the humans too young, too fragile, too civilized to strike back. They were wrong. The Feast of Arrogance. The Dominion celebrated the slaughter as though it were a festival. In their strongholds of obsidian and glass, alien nobles raised cups of molten nectar, recounting how easily the humans broke. They played recordings of human cries in their halls, as if they were nothing more than music for entertainment. The Dominion High Marshal, resplendent in armor inlaid with gemstones mined from dead worlds, sneered before his council. Earth will send protests. Perhaps a delegation, draped in robes of diplomacy. They will whimper, they will beg. But they will not lift their hand in war. They have grown fat on their trade alliances and soft under their endless debates. They do not remember how to bare their teeth. The room thundered with alien laughter. Allies of the Dominion, opportunistic scavengers and smaller empires, took the massacre as proof. Humanity was weak. They whispered among themselves that Earth's rise was over, that its colonies were ripe for plunder. The galaxy believed the Dominion's lie, that humans were incapable of fury. But they had forgotten something. The forgotten warrior deep within the archives of Earth, beneath the polished veneer of diplomacy and treaties, slept the record of an old soldier, Admiral Kalen Vera. Once, he was the hammer of Earth's fleets, the strategist who had driven raiders into extinction and shattered blockades that strangled humanity in its infancy. But when peace settled like a fragile dawn across the stars, Kalen was set aside, honored but unneeded, too ruthless, too unflinching for the new era of councils and trade federations. He was left behind, a relic, a forgotten warrior. But when Carthan's reach fell, when the hollows of children burning beneath alien laughter reached Earth, Kalen's name rose again like a storm called from the deep. The councils hesitated, voices trembling with the weight of consequence. War meant breaking treaties, collapsing alliances, risking humanity's fragile growth. But the people did not hesitate. Their rage was volcanic, boundless, unifying, and in their fury, they turned to the man who had always promised, "If they ever touch us again, I will carry Earth's wrath to their gates." The forgotten warrior was called back, his fleets reforged, his command awakened, humanity's fangs bared, the gathering of storms. The galaxy went quiet when the first ships moved. The Dominion had expected diplomatic channels to flood with pleas. Instead, silence, terrifying, heavy silence. Then came the transmissions. Cold, unadorned messages echoing across the void. A single line broadcast in every language. Carthan's Reach remembers. The slipstream gates glowed red with human traffic. Carriers long mothballed opened their hangars, exhaling squadrons of fighters sharp as blades. Dreadnoughts, each a continent of steel, broke orbit around Earth and Luna, their hulls scarred but hungry. The fleets massed like thunderclouds blotting out suns. The Dominion's watchers reported numbers that made their own admirals pale. 2,000 warships mobilized within a week, with more still assembling. The humans did not posture. They did not negotiate. They moved with chilling precision, as if vengeance had always been part of their design. The galaxy shivered. Allies of the Dominion began to withdraw, no longer eager to face the storm. The smaller empires whispered prayers. For the first time in millennia, the Vare Dominion felt something alien to them. Fear. The descent of retribution, it began at the edges. Human strike fleets descended on Dominion border outposts like wolves falling upon lambs. The humans did not capture. They did not occupy. They erased orbital defenses melted under rail cannon barrages. Garrisons were vaporized by precision strikes that burned for hours. Colonies that once carried Dominion banners were reduced to glassy plains. And every survivor, every broken soldier, every cowering civilian was left with the same message carved into the ruins. Carthon's Reach remembers. Then came the dreadnoughts. World after world watched as colossal shadows fell upon their skies. Human fleets moved in coordinated silence, their formations tighter than any the Dominion had ever faced. The Vere counterattacked, mustering fleets that had enslaved half a quadrant. Their admirals scoffed at human numbers, boasting their centuries of war would triumph. But when steel met fire, the boasting ended. The humans fought with no thought of retreat. They unleashed weapons the galaxy had never seen. Kinetic spears accelerated to near light, ripping through capital ships like parchment. Drone swarms that devoured escorts in clouds of fire. Orbital bombardments that shattered continents with surgical fury. And at the center of it all, Admiral Kalen Vera's flagship, a titan forged for extinction, leading every strike with the calm brutality of inevitability. The Dominion learned too late. Humans had not forgotten how to make war. They had simply chosen patience, and patience, when broken, gave way to wrath. The ashes of empires. The war lasted 43 days. 43 days, and the Vere Dominion, an empire that had stood for 6,000 years, was ash and ruin. Their strongholds burned beneath skies filled with descending human fleets. Their noble houses, once drunk on conquest, screamed as orbital fire rained upon their palaces. Their soldiers, who had laughed at the pleas of Carthon's Reach, now begged for mercy in the same tones. None was given. The galaxy watched as Earth's vengeance carved a path through the Dominion's heartworlds. No plea, no treaty, no surrender was acknowledged. Humanity had come not to parley, but to erase. Kalen Vera carried humanity's fury like a torch through the dark. He made certain the Dominion's archives, every record of their triumphs, were turned to cinders. Their banners, once spread across stars, were reduced to dust beneath human boots. And when the last fortress fell, when the last warship cracked apart beneath the void, humanity's fleets fell silent. Not in exhaustion, not in peace, but in judgment. The silence after fire. The stars grew quiet again. Where the Dominion once ruled, there was only silence. Whole sectors turned to graveyards, their skies filled with drifting wreckage. Trade routes shifted in fear. Worlds once loyal to the Dominion now trembled at every whisper of human ships in the void. The survivors who crawled from ruins carried a single phrase, spoken in dread across every corner of the galaxy: never provoke Earth again. The lesson was not just the fall of the Dominion. It was the revelation that humanity's patience had limits. That beneath their treaties and councils they carried a core of molten fury. That when their children were slaughtered, their vengeance was infinite. Admiral Kalen Vera, the forgotten warrior, returned to silence after his work was done. He did not parade, did not celebrate. He simply closed his eyes and said the only words that mattered. Carthon's Reach remembers. And the galaxy remembered too. Epilogue. The weight of vengeance in the centuries to come. Scholars would argue over the morality of Earth's retribution. Some called it disproportionate, others called it justice. But no empire, no warlord, no conqueror ever again tested humanity's resolve. For the memory of Carthon's Reach endured, and with it, the shadow of Kalen Vera, the forgotten warrior who had carried humanity's fury into their strongholds and left behind silence, fire, and fear.